Nobody talks to as many people as I do when it comes to their money. And that's, you could be vulnerable making $200,000 a year, believe it or not. The more money somebody makes, the more money they spend. And they get used to spending that amount of money, no matter what income category they happen to be in. And then when something changes, such as inflation makes everything far more expensive, and not just the eggs or the chicken or whatever, because all of that's coming down now, but your car insurance premiums, your home insurance premiums, property taxes, everything that affects you, all of a sudden you have far more expenses, even though they're the same expenses on the same income that you were used to living on. And before you know it, you're living what? On credit cards. You've spent all of your money. You really have no savings anymore. And so it's really just that simple. You know, people who are vulnerable and they're working for minimum wage or whatever, it's very difficult for them to help themselves truthfully, given what's going on with interest rates, inflation, discrimination, and everything else that they have to face, right? And therefore, we really want to solve the problem that you just mentioned. All people who are vulnerable need help, no matter what they look like. Because I can tell you, because nobody talks to as many people as I do when it comes to their money. And that's, you could be vulnerable making $200,000 a year, believe it or not. So who does it fall on, the responsibility? It falls on first the employers who have the money to help every employee that works for them that is vulnerable, regardless of the amount of money they make, number one. And number two, when the employers get involved and help their employees and set up programs like an emergency savings account, and the employees start to participate in it, and now they feel less vulnerable because they have a savings for the first time. Now we go back to the point that I made earlier with you, Beth, which is they're starting to be self-educated. And then the vulnerable start to understand, oh, I like how this feels. I can do this. And then they start to truly change their behavior and all the education in the world. And I can tell you, because I have written 10 consecutive New York Times bestsellers. I, have done more in that aspect of books and educational material. And I can tell you, I can teach them everything possible, but that doesn't mean they're going to do it. What teaches them better than any book, any course, any program out there is to get a taste of what it's like to have money so that they don't feel vulnerable.